The ride from the county center was quiet at first, each of the six processing the weight of the council's announcement. They sat inside a sleek electric shuttle van, one of several automated passenger carts lining the curb. No driver, no steering wheel. The roads of the rural district, like most in the Syndicate's lunar territory, were broad and clean. The central pedestrian lanes flanked by narrow cart lanes, used only when absolutely necessary. Speed wasn't the point. Safety, silence, and space were. Jonah sat up front, legs wide, arms folded. Ezra leaned his head back, his eyes glowed, silently praying. Eve and Rachel whispered quietly about what to pack. Micah and Naomi sat toward the rear, watching the city slide past. Outside the cart, the tunnel widened into a massive corridor. Though underground, the space was filled with light, from bioluminescent panels and warm, simulated sunlight overhead. Fruit-bearing vines hung in planters embedded along the ceiling. Apple trees, pear trees, even passion fruit wound their way through the infrastructure. A father and daughter stood beside one tree, plucked bright orange fruits. The child asked if it was time to go home. "Soon," the father replied, "but first we give thanks. We never go hungry here, not on God's moon." After a short ride, the shuttle turned off and entered a hangar tunnel, passing through reinforced gates. Ahead lay the Reuel County Motor Pool, a sprawling underground structure that served as depot, garage, and warehouse all in one. It supported every village in the district. The massive blast doors opened slowly, revealing a cavernous bay lit by golden industrial lighting. Off to the side were stacked pallets, vehicle parts, sealed crates, and supply lockers. Some sections of the hangar extended downward. Others led upward through reinforced corridors to airlocks on the surface. To the right, tucked into the hangar's wall, were the offices. A polite attendant at the front directed them through a series of hallways, past storage and shipping logs, until they reached a long room that smelled faintly of ozone and motor oil. Inside were 3 desks. 2 men sat at the front, surrounded by half-organized chaos. Open tool chests, arc welding goggles, data slates. "Afternoon, y'all," said a deep southern voice. Shay stood to greet them, his smile wide, his cowboy shirt loud enough to be seen from orbit. He wore worn blue jeans, a battered belt with a Syndicate buckle, and scuffed brown boots. "Y'all came for your ride?" "We did," Ezra replied. An older man raised a hand from a stool near the side wall. His face looked like crumpled leather, eyes sharp and kind despite the weathered lines. He wore the American civilian service uniform, pressed neatly even though he was clearly well past retirement age. "Name's Charles," he crowed. "I'm the U.S. liaison for logistics. Technically, I'm here to make sure the Americans get their share of whatever this place does, but mostly I just keep Shay out of trouble." Shay chuckled. "He's not wrong." Charles tapped a request on his arc. Physical, simple, worn like an ID badge on a lanyard. "Here you go," he said to a waiting young man at the front. "Go see the lady up front and tell her the chief said it was approved." As the young man walked away, he paused, staring at the group. "You're the ambassadors of the light. The 6th they're sending to the American Lunar State Capital, right?" Ezra offered a gentle smile. "That's us. I was born here, on Luna. What was it like, the first time when y'all came up?" Ezra, Micah, Rachel, Jonah, Naomi, and Eve all exchanged looks. They'd told these stories 100 times, but never stopped telling them. "Hard," Micah said. "Exciting. Humbling." "I remember the briefings," Rachel added. "They herded us through like cattle." "And shaving Nana's head," Jonah laughed. "She hated that." "Turned out her perm worked even better on the moon," Eve said, smirking. "Gravity let it bloom." They spoke of arriving with only 4 outfits, issued uniforms, exercise clothes, formal wear, basic, functional. Their things arrived by cargo, standardized to the gram. Life was minimal, but it was enough. Charles nodded. You had what mattered. Still do. He leaned back. Truth be told, I wasn't even a believer when I came up. Thought y'all were a little culty. But I saw your lives. Saw how you lived. How you loved each other. I met Christ up here. Got baptized in the Reuel Doom 2 years ago. Micah smiled wide. I'd love to hear your testimony sometime. Bring coffee, Charles said. I'll talk your ears off. Rachel chimed in. We all came to faith early. It's not forced, just natural. We're surrounded by the gospel. You hear it in the kitchen, in school, during harvest. Eve nodded. We're all related. We don't see strangers, just cousins we haven't met. Shay led them out of the office and into the cavernous hangar proper. They boarded a cargo cart and zipped deeper into the facility. Another blast door opened. Inside was a controlled bay, clean, pressurized, climate stable. Beyond a glass wall sat their ship. It wasn't enormous, but it was beautiful. Silver, sleek, and powerful. Built for 20. Spacious living quarters, kitchen, dining area, bridge, engineering, storage, and redundant systems. Lined with greenery, wooden trim, warm lighting. It felt like a home. Well, this one's y'all's, Shay said. She ain't got a name yet. Yours to pick. He added, we got 2 assigned to the district. If y'all don't mind, I'd like to make the other one available to country folks. Let 'em borrow it when needed. Eve looked at the others. Please do. They nodded in agreement. They toured the interior. The dining room seated 20, surrounded by couches, bookshelves, and handrails hidden in the walls for zero-G. Private quarters lined both sides, modular rooms that joined for couples. The galley connected both social spaces. Hydroponics lined the walls with berries and herbs. Solar chargers powered the systems, and the emergency power could last a year. At the rear of the ship, they met their flight crew, a young second lieutenant, a seasoned NCO, and 2 junior operators, all members of the Syndicate's merchant fleet. No military, just skilled hands, humbled hearts. This one was meant for Martian trips, the officer explained. Experimental nuclear dry, uses lunar salts for power and fuel. Runs clean, strong, and forever. How fast to Mars? Micah asked. The officer smiled. Not fast. Reliable. 3 months. Maybe less with a clean trajectory. But with this drive, we could run heavier. Whole habitats, bulk freight, the kind of payloads that make colonies possible. Ezra nodded. That was in the last Elder meeting. It's not public yet. They leaned in. We've got survey rights to a territory on Mars, 10 times the size of Texas. The treaties are drafted. If we play this right, the Syndicate will be building more than villages. We'll be building nations. Shay grinned wide. Y'all know what that means? Barges to the asteroid belt, miners, homesteaders, family, the poor, the meek. They'll go first. They'll inherit the stars. Everyone stood in silence, looking at the ship. It was more than a vessel. It was the next step.